If you listen, you will notice music everywhere. This bridge is made of hope. This bridge is made of hope. In this world of hunger, war, and strife, we can together, all included, build a better life. This bridge is made of hope. Side by side, hope. This bridge is made of hope. Side by side, hope. This bridge is made of hope. Side by side, hope. This bridge is made of hope. Side by side,
Hello, Ivy here. This week's episode is 167, part 2. Remember, we couldn't get through all of the information last week, so this is the second half. The title, The Crown in Crisis, Harry and Meghan, Redefining Royalty and Global Influence. A quick recap of the introduction. Today's podcast, second part of the podcast, which explores how the flaws of UK monarchy has been there for many decades, but was generally ignored. By the use of the British royal family scapegoat being made to do the heavy lifting in setting a project on the road, and ensuring that completion took place, but the heir to the throne always used to promote it and to take credit for its outcomes. Harry and Meghan are now in control of their own destiny and no longer live off taxpayer funding. They earn their own money and are slowly building a business empire, creating legacy for their family. The royal family is now exposed more and more each day as to what they actually represent. And the fact that the monarchy is doing so badly, even with a sycophantic media primed to sell the UK monarchy as top of the tree in monarchies, and is therefore a template to follow. For those who are ready to face reality, they recognise how low in popularity the current king and his heir have actually fallen. It is UK media who write positive articles daily, depicting high popularity of the royal family, when the reality is the current king's popularity is low, and it clearly is not sitting well with the king. And to make matters worse, even less people are interested in the heir and his consort. The crown is very much in crisis. I will quickly just list the 7 areas of the framework of this 2-part podcast, just to give you a reminder of the 3 that we went through last week and a little bit of item 4, but I'm just going to read out all 7. 1. Redefining royalty and international influence. 2. Sussex's evolution from monarchy scapegoats to global change makers. 3. Archwell's success, Invictus Games, youth empowerment and media evolution. 4. The narrative control shift, Netflix and upcoming projects. 5. Global press respect versus UK tabloid smear campaigns. 6. How authenticity is replacing archaic hierarchy. And 7. Psychology note. And this week it's around resilience, post-traumatic growth and narrative reclamation. Let us explore how Harry and Meghan are reshaping the concept of modern royalty by stepping away from traditional royal roles. The tale of Meghan and Harry is one that intertwines love, transformation, and resilience. From palace walls to global impact. In 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex made headlines when they chose to step away from their roles as senior members of the British royal family. Critics called it a scandal. Supporters called it brave. But what followed was neither retreat nor silence. It was reinvention. Now based in California, Harry and Meghan have built a life centred on service, storytelling and social change. Through their Archwell Foundation, they have launched initiatives supporting mental health, gender equity and community resilience. Their work is global, but their message is deeply personal: healing, hope and humanity. Prince Harry, from royal duties to global leadership. In a striking transformation, Prince Harry has emerged as a prominent figure on the global stage, leaving behind the confines of royal expectations. Once told that his worth was tied solely to his role within the royal family, where his duties revolved around ceremonial tasks like cutting ribbons and waving at crowds, he has now carved out a path defined by purpose and respect. Observing him navigate life away from those royal constraints is nothing short of inspiring. The announcement of Prince Harry's participation in the 2024 Concordia Summit captured attention. This prestigious event took place in New York City from September the 23rd to the 25th, and was a gathering of influential leaders from both public and private sectors. It is an opportunity for visionaries to come together and discuss pressing global issues during the UN General Assembly Week. The lineup of that summit was impressive, featuring not only Prince Harry, but also notable figures such as the New York Governor, Kathy Hochul, and Sir Nick Clegg, President of Global Affairs at Meta. Their diverse backgrounds enriched the conversation and the discussions, making the summit a must-attend for those passionate about creating positive change. As a champion for mental health, veteran rights, and environmental conservation, Prince Harry's advocacy work has made significant waves worldwide. His initiatives, including the Invictus Games, showcase his commitment to empowering others and addressing social challenges head-on. His evolving role underscores a broader commitment to meaningful engagement with critical issues. The Governor, as the first female Governor of New York, brings a pioneering spirit to the summit, focusing on economic recovery and public safety. Meanwhile, Sir Nick Clegg's extensive experience in digital policy and global communications was vital as the summit tackled topics like technology's societal impact. His background as a former Deputy Prime Minister of the UK adds depth to the conversation surrounding online safety and digital innovation. There are short profiles of all the speakers who attended the summit listed in the reference sources below at the end of the article. The Concordia Summit is more than just a gathering. It's a platform for action. The diversity of perspectives ensured that participants left with a holistic understanding of the issues at hand. Prince Harry's inclusion among such esteemed company highlights his remarkable journey from a royal figurehead to a respected global leader. Harry is now a proactive advocate for change, demonstrating that true leadership transcends position and is rooted in impact. His story serves as a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to reshape our narratives. Prince Harry and Meghan, England's Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are frequently in the news for their stance against paparazzi and their decision to step back from the royal family in early 2020. But behind the scenes, this famous couple advocates for various matters. Harry and Meghan's global activism expands beyond their home countries of the United States and the United Kingdom. They are frequent vocal supporters of global poverty issues, particularly those that affect children. Prior to her marriage to Prince Harry in 2018, Meghan was an outspoken advocate of gender equality in developing countries. She became a UN Women's Advocate for women's political participation and leadership in 2015. The following year, Meghan travelled to Rwanda and India as an ambassador for World Vision. World Vision is an organisation that fights global poverty in children. The experience inspired her to write an op-ed in Time magazine about the effect stigma around menstruation can have on a girl's future. When she married Prince Harry and became a member of the royal family, Meghan stepped down from these roles. However, this does not mean she stopped being a voice for those in need. Now, Harry and Meghan, activism has launched programs and supported charities around the globe that fight to eradicate global poverty. Additionally, they inspire fans of the royals to become advocates themselves. Prince Harry and Meghan, along with their young son Archie at the time, took a 10-day tour of Africa. They visited South Africa, Botswana, Angola and Malawi in late September and early October of 2019. While there, the couple announced a variety of projects, including protecting forests, investing in technology, and ridding the land of dangerous landmines. The Duchess of Sussex additionally announced grants and scholarships from the Association of Commonwealth Universities. This is an international organisation that supports higher education and supports African girls in their journey to university and beyond. During this same trip, Harry and Meghan met with members of the Campaign for Female Education, CAMFED. CAMFED is a group of women advocating for girls' education and global poverty issues throughout Africa. The royal couple used their platform to support these women. In addition, they shared their work with their 10 million Instagram followers. In April 2020, the couple announced their new non-profit, Archwell. From royal duties to social activism, Prince Harry's inspiring journey of transformation and influence. Harry's departure from Britain was not a mere geographical shift, but an ideological one. He embraced a different way of living, one that prioritised mental well-being, personal freedom, and social activism. His candid revelations about his struggle with mental health, presented in the docuseries The Me You Can't See, is a testament to this transformation. In the United States, Harry has embarked on a new professional life apart from his royal lineage. Alongside Meghan, he co-founded the non-profit organisation Archwell, which aims to uplift and unite communities through diverse initiatives ranging from mental health resources to scholarship programs. Prince Harry has also forged ahead into the corporate world. He took on the role of Chief Impact Officer at BetterUp, a mental health and productivity startup. Additionally, he and Meghan inked a multi-year deal with Netflix to produce documentaries, docuseries, feature films, scripted television shows, and children's programming through their company, Archwell Productions. Despite criticism and scrutiny that often tag along with his royal status, Prince Harry has been resolute in his commitment to effect positive change. By moving away from the traditional expectations of royalty, he has offered a fresh perspective on what it means to be a public figure in the 21st century, balancing personal life and public responsibility. To conclude, Prince Harry's journey is a narrative of transformation, one that has seen a royal prince evolve into an advocate for mental health, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, as he continues to carve out his path. He remains a figure of immense interest, both for his royal heritage and his forward-thinking endeavours. The Sussexes' evolution from monarchy scapegoats to global change makers. A royal exit. The Sussexes' journey beyond the palace walls. The fascination surrounding the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan, continues to captivate the UK, even years after their departure from royal duties. This couple's journey has sparked endless debates, dissected by self-proclaimed royal experts who seem unable to let go. Their every move is scrutinised as if their personal choices could somehow unravel the very fabric of the monarchy itself. Yet Harry and Meghan have boldly chosen to carve out a life that prioritises their well-being and autonomy, leaving behind the constraints of royal expectations. Some critics argue that Harry's decision to step away from royal life equates to a betrayal of his family. However, this perspective fails to acknowledge the couple's desire for a healthier, more balanced existence. Their exit has undeniably altered the landscape of the monarchy, revealing a system struggling to adapt to modern values and changing societal norms. The monarchy was destined to struggle, and the signs were there decades ago. The establishment had no interest in facing what was coming over the hill. The arrogance of being convinced that they would all be all right, based on no workforce planning or strategy on how to build in and develop ways to strengthen the monarchy and to keep it relevant. Instead, the royal family and its media and so-called royal experts all took the easy way out and blamed it on the Sussexes stepping back and moving to another continent. Let's not forget that Harry and Meghan were willing to have a half-in and half-out arrangement, but the royal family were adamant that was not going to be acceptable. The outcome of that was that the couple moved away completely. It also needs to be said over and over again, because all the so-called experts just appear to tell the royal family what they want to hear, as opposed to the hard truth of the matter. And these few lines, if I recall correctly, I did read these out, but there's only a few lines, and I think it's appropriate and relevant here. A couple or a person leaving a family business does not and could never be the cause of that business failing. If one person moving to another post elsewhere and creating a new life elsewhere could in any way cause the immediate house of cards to begin crumbling, then the answer is right there and has been for decades. It begs the question, what was everyone else doing all these years, and in particular the heir to the throne and his consort? They have gone over 2 decades without even one completed project to their name, as a couple or even on their own. That is one of the main in-your-face, evidence that all of the royal family and its courtiers all chose to ignore. The four senior royals combined do not make one capable, mentally and physically able, and in no way has there ever been an honest evaluation of competency. It was convenient to have someone to be the scapegoat for the whole of the British royal family, but in particular the heir to the throne. Everybody else could and did go on holidays every few months, some cases every month, but seemed unable or uninterested in being part of a project that required more than reading of a card about its purpose, and then return to whatever luxury hole they occupied until the next working event of a few moments or so was scheduled for their attendance. Harry and Meghan are not the reason for the failures and inherent weakness and lack of competency on any level. It was the couple taking the chance to try and forge a new life for themselves and their children that allowed the lights to shine on a group of people who were embarrassingly poor quality royals. They wanted the spotlight. But now that it shines on them every day, all manner of health issues have appeared, and many others are frail due to age. And there is no obvious safeguarding policy or procedure for the type of concerns which should be shown to those who work for the Crown. There is no Harry now to be the whipping boy of the royal family, and there is no Meghan now to receive the attention that you all wanted to receive. The royal family has everything that they wanted, yet they lack everything that is required and needed to give the monarchy a future. Supporters of Harry and Meghan are global and have zero interest in the plight of the day-to-day activities of the royal family. People in the UK are also less interested than they used to be. I speak for myself here. My focus and priorities in terms of charitable endeavours are all centred on Archwell Foundation and its various charities. No concern for the British royal family and its predicament at the moment. Self-inflicted harm done to the UK monarchy because of fragile egos who wanted the spotlight to be focused on 4 senior members only. Well, you have had that spotlight since March 2020. How are things going for you years down the line? Perhaps it's time for these commentators to consider allowing Harry and Meghan the freedom to live their lives without incessant judgment. Many tabloids seem trapped in a fantasy where Harry would abandon his beloved wife and children to return to a toxic environment rife with racism and hostility. The truth is, the Sussexes have firmly moved forward, leaving behind the venomous narratives crafted by the press. It's high time these publications acknowledged that Harry and Meghan are not coming back, no matter how fervently they wish otherwise. The impact of the media's barrage of negative coverage on Harry and Meghan has been profound. The couple has faced immense stress and anxiety, forced to defend their choices against a backdrop of blatant racism and envy. Despite their efforts to focus on philanthropy and positive contributions to society, the constant stream of lies and vitriol has been relentless, in the hope that the couple will fail and come crawling back to the toxicity in the palaces. Things are way past that point, a long time ago. That ship has well and truly sailed. This situation underscores the significant damage a media-driven agenda can inflict on individuals striving for a peaceful existence. The media's insistence that Harry and Meghan will eventually return to royal life is almost comical. Even as Harry and Meghan build a new future for themselves and their children, the media seems stuck in a storyline of their own making, one that bears no relevance to the couple's actual lives. Despite the couple's clear and resolute decision to pursue their own path, the press clings desperately to an outdated narrative, much like the approach to what a UK monarchy will look like as the months go by. It is about time a dose of reality set in, and real discussions that contain some modicum of reality would be a good start. The number of breaches in various aspects of law is going to come back on many of those who think they are safe. Time will tell. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan deserve much better than anything coming out of any of the royal palaces. And this particular sentence coming up I've put in bold because I think it merits standing out amongst everything else that we've just gone through. The ramifications of Harry and Meghan's departure from the royal family extend beyond personal choices. They have reshaped how society views the monarchy. The fascination surrounding the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan, continues to captivate the UK, even years after their departure from royal duties. This couple's journey has sparked endless debates, dissected by self-proclaimed royal experts who seem unable to let go. Their every move is scrutinised, as if their personal choices could somehow unravel the very fabric of the monarchy itself. The truth is, the Sussexes have firmly moved forward, leaving behind the venomous narratives crafted by the press. It's high time these publications acknowledged that Harry and Meghan are not coming back. The impact of the media's barrage of negative coverage on Harry and Meghan has been profound. In a world where the media often thrives on sensationalism, the Sussexes' story serves as a reminder of the power of personal agency. Harry and Meghan have chosen to prioritise their happiness and well-being over the expectations of an institution steeped in tradition. Their journey is not just about stepping back from royal duties. It is about reclaiming their narrative and redefining what it means to be part of the royal family in today's world. The ongoing fascination with their lives underscores a collective yearning for authenticity and connection. Future challenges for the monarchy and for the government. Maintaining popular support. This final section mentions some of the main challenges facing the monarchy during Charles's reign and the legislative changes many people would like to see from the government. The first and most obvious challenge is to maintain popular support. Modern monarchy no longer depends on divine grace, but the consent of the people. During the Queen's reign, the monarchy consistently obtained support ratings between 60 and 80%. Over the last 30 years, support for a republic has not risen above 15 to 20%. And can I just say, recent figures, and by recent I mean this year, support for the republic around March, April time was 55%. So a little bit different to 15 to 20 as published in various tabloids. Like all polls, much depends on who is being asked the questions, from which societal group they come from, which will then dictate the percentages of the types of answers. So I'm putting it there and quoting what's in tabloids, but just think outside the box in terms of who is taking part, who is approached to take part in these polls, what publications are these polls in, which in themselves will dictate the readership that comes forward. Early polls in the new reign suggest a small bounce for the monarchy, with 60%, 6-0, saying they think Charles will make a good king. More worrying, however, for the monarchy is the much lower levels of support among the young. But the polling expert, John Curtis, suggests this age gap has been there for at least 30 years, with support for the monarchy growing as people get older. If public support does start to dwindle, pressure may grow on the government to reduce funding. In Spain, the monarchy enjoys lower levels of public support and much lower levels of funding. Scottish independence. The next big challenge is the threat of an increasingly disunited kingdom. Charles's tour of the nations was seen by some as a bid to save the Union. If the Scottish government succeeds in a future attempt to hold another independence referendum, can the monarchy remain neutral? The 2014 referendum was famously on occasion when the Queen's usually impeccable neutrality seemed to slip for a moment. As someone who has been proclaimed King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, can Charles pretend to be unconcerned if he becomes King of a lesser Britain? the standing of the monarchy will inevitably be damaged, even if responsibility for the breakup lies with the politicians and not the monarch. So it will be hard to stand idly by, but a greater risk to the monarchy would be to allow itself to be co-opted by unionist politicians, as Liz Truss attempted to do when she sought to join Charles's inaugural tour of the nations. It will be small consolation that the SNP wishes to retain the monarchy so that an independent Scotland would become one of the realms, with Charles as its head of state. That would be a hard role to fulfil if the breakup leads to a difficult divorce, as with Brexit, with Charles trying to remain above the divisions of his fractious kingdoms. In addition, the Scottish National Party has long had a fundamentalist wing who have no time for the monarchy. If the Scottish people sense that Charles's primary loyalty is to his larger kingdom, they may press for an early referendum on becoming a republic. Realms become republics. It may be a different story with the other realms, the countries around the world where Charles is now head of state. Here too, it may be seen as a blow to the monarchy's prestige if some of the realms choose to reject Charles as king. But talk of the realms rushing to become republics is overblown. And for the monarchy, their departure may even come as a relief. Barbados became a republic in November 21, and Charles attended the celebrations to wish them well. The next countries seen as likely to become republics are Australia, Antigua, and Jamaica. The new Australian Prime Minister has appointed Matt Thistlewaite to a newly created post, Assistant Minister for the Republic. But a referendum on becoming a republic is not a priority for his first 3-year term. In Antigua and Barbuda, the Prime Minister Gaston Browne has said that he will call for a referendum in the next 3 years. In Jamaica, successive Prime Ministers have promised to lead their country to becoming a republic, but the process of constitutional amendment has prevented them from doing so. It requires a 2/3 vote in both houses of Parliament, followed by a referendum. Australia has a similar high threshold, but its 1999 referendum disclosed a further layer of difficulty: how to select the new head of state. The proposition that a future president should be chosen by the Parliament was defeated by 55 to 45, because most voters wanted the president to be directly elected and chosen by the people. Prince Harry and Meghan were made scapegoats for the dysfunctional monarchy, when in reality they were royal rock stars. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex suffered because the royals have never worked out how to handle the younger brothers and sisters of the heir to the throne, who are destined to live in their older siblings' shadow, according to historian Robert Lacey. In The Battle of the Brothers, published by William Collins, Lacey argues that the royal institution could not find a meaningful role for the couple, and that Prince William's attitude to his brother was marked by rivalry. We know that Kate wanted to fit in right from the start, by the way she changed her university destination to become one of William's circle. That's one way to describe it, and it's probably a good idea for me not to give an alternative way to describe it. It's easy to be wise after the event, and there could have been more compromises in the agreement hammered out in January. Again, this is Robert Lacey. In addition to the royal family failing to properly manage the tension between William, the heir to the throne, and Harry, the spare, Lacey also suggested that the palace establishment mishandled Meghan. Lacey said it may have represented an acknowledgement on the Queen's part that Harry and Meghan were at home, the royal rock stars who were overshadowing Kate and William. I think I do feel that William was overshadowed. There was a sense, even when they were young, that William was rather jealous of the lovable rogue persona that made Harry so popular. A new era of royal collaboration, Harry and Meghan's global impact. Harry and Meghan have truly captured the attention of the world. Their love story, reminiscent of a modern fairy tale, broke traditional barriers and became a beacon of hope and unity. From their stunning wedding that enchanted millions to their hands-on charitable work, they appeared to herald a fresh chapter for the British monarchy. However, their decision to step back from royal duties took many by surprise, marking not just a rebellion against tradition, but a bold declaration of independence aimed at creating a better life for their family. There was no mere break from royal obligations. It was a complete transformation. Harry and Meghan transcended their roles as mere royal figures, evolving into advocates and entrepreneurs dedicated to causes they hold dear. Freed from the constraints of royal protocol, they embraced their new identities, allowing them to address pressing global issues without hesitation. Their journey has inspired people worldwide to reconsider the meaning and responsibilities of modern royalty. This connection highlights a shift in how royalty can engage with the world, demonstrating that one can honour heritage whilst also carving out a new path. Their advocacy on issues such as climate change, social justice, and mental health has sparked important conversations and encouraged action. By using their platform to amplify often unheard voices, Harry and Meghan are redefining traditional roles and inspiring a new generation to think critically about leadership and responsibility. The weight of Harry and Meghan's global platform is undeniable. Their every move attracts media attention, providing a unique opportunity to spotlight critical issues and amplify messages that matter. This shared commitment could lay the groundwork for impactful collaborations that leverage their strengths, pooling resources to tackle global challenges like poverty, healthcare, and gender equality. Philanthropy seems to be a natural starting point for this collaboration. Harry and Meghan's charitable organisation, Archwell, embodies their vision for social change and community uplift. Imagine the possibilities: joint fundraising events, awareness campaigns, and collaborative projects that reach vulnerable populations worldwide. Navigating cultural differences with sensitivity and respect is crucial. Only time will tell, but the possibilities are filled with hope. Innovative programmes and initiatives. Among the notable initiatives launched by Archwell in 2023 is the Welcome Project, aimed at fostering community amongst resettled refugee women across the United States. This programme encourages participation in various activities, including cooking, hiking and painting, thereby promoting social integration and support networks. The Foundation has continued to expand this initiative into 2024-25, providing resources to groups in Washington, DC, Oakland, Massachusetts and Decatur. Expanding outreach and support networks. In addition to the Welcome Project, the Archwell Foundation has introduced the Archwell Parents Network, a support group designed for parents whose children have experienced online harms. Initially focused on the United States, this program has now extended its reach to Canada and the UK. Showcasing the Foundation's commitment to addressing global challenges faced by families in the digital age. The report concludes with a powerful message. Our purpose is simple, yet impactful: to show up, do good, to drive positive change, rally for communities in need, and nurture spaces where everyone is seen, valued, and supported. As the Archwell Foundation continues to evolve, its focus on community engagement and support remains at the forefront of its mission. There is a very large section on the Invictus Games. Lots of photographs, lots of articles from various celebrities, including former athletes, members of families of people competing in Invictus Games in the past, and their thoughts on that process and how much it has helped them. Really long, there's several pages there, and in terms of the reference sources, this is probably one of the longest lists I've done for a good couple of years. There are several web links. You don't have to click on all of them. I have put them under the headings of each of the headings and paragraphs in both of the podcasts and articles. So if you have an interest in the psychology element of things, then there are a list of web links pertaining to the psychology section. So they're all at the end, but I've put them under headings so you can go straight to the point of interest that grabs your mind first. What else could I say about that? I'm going to bring this second half of the podcast to an end in the next few minutes, and I will end on the seventh heading in the framework, and it is the psychology note. But just so that you know, again, I'm summarising within that. There's more actual narrative in the article, But there are even more lists of web links for more information about this area of psychology that I'm going to come on to in a moment. So once again, we've had lots of information, and when I tell you there's pages and pages on the Invictus Games, and there would have been pages and pages on many aspects of those 7 stages in the framework, but definitely in the psychology aspect, as a roundup of Harry and Meghan and others working their way through the other 6 and what kind of things have been experienced going through those things over many years in some cases for some people, and how they've come out the other side of some of those experiences. Fascinating it is, hence why the reference source list is long, and there's more in the article, much longer than I'm going to be speaking about in a moment, but it kind of brings the whole of the podcast together, in this case the 2 halves, but it talks about the psychology behind it all and how people move through from childhood into adulthood, and the kind of phases that many experience along the way. Can I just say there's also a section on various deals, but particularly focused on Netflix, because that in itself contains many projects under that umbrella, and there are details both in the article and photographs around the kind of framework that Harry and Meghan are putting together with their team, and basically the millions will turn into billions at some stage, and it doesn't seem far away. Absolutely fascinating, heartwarming, and I am so pleased to see them moving in this trajectory. Just spotted one of the sentences that I think is worth reading out in terms of the Netflix success. Netflix wants success, adding that Netflix would not have invested both monetary capital and social capital in Meghan's lifestyle brand if they didn't think it was going to be a winner. You can see the direction she's going, and it's not a foolish direction. It's quite a clever direction. There's lots more, but you get the gist. It's very, very positive. It's saying sort of, despite the kind of rhetoric that's printed, particularly in the UK, which in itself they should be embarrassed about. It's really bad that all this time it's still coming out as the UK that's, circling the drain with their reporting and their articles. But someone has said, and you'll see it in the article, and you'll see even more when you click on some of the links, as someone says, despite the noise coming from the UK in particular, it's the viewing figures that matter. And the viewing figures ultimately is what the measurements are based on. So as much as they want to complain about it, they're watching it when they're writing their articles. They're watching it, the not just media people, but the other group, the derangers and others. They're watching, and they're watching more than once because they're making content from it to go and make money on their own podcast. And what they fail to understand, and they refuse to understand, is that they're adding to the figures. So, Meghan's, running all the... She doesn't need to run. She can take her time to the bank. It's more than enough. It'll be there every day, building. And it isn't just about that, but it was talking about Netflix as a partner in this would not be spending the type of time and money and resources on something which they believe has a high risk of failure. Quite the opposite. And this is early days yet, there's more to come. And apparently we'll hear more about that in the future, whatever those things are, those new projects. But Harry and Meghan are doing very, very well. They have no need to come back. Zero. And I wouldn't in their place. Why return to your abuser when you have zero need to do so? While I remember, there is a section which is one of the 7 parts of the framework that compares UK media, press in particular, and elsewhere. I've chosen not to read out any of that. I've put several front page images of both sets of papers, and there are a lot more in the web links. I just find every time I look at UK publications, I feel like I want to weep, but then I remind myself they're of no consequence, because the UK is a dot on the planet when the majority of the globe do not share those views. But I just thought I'm not even going to read and comment on the literary liners that they churn out. I refuse. But there are lots of them there, so I've tried to be fair. There are lots of photographs there of front pages, and you can see the headlines. That's enough when you see the headlines and the style and the way that they've gone about it. And then you see other countries' papers about the same things and the difference in that. And then there are lots of web links, so you can click on those and you'll find other publications as well. I was never going to read or comment on those because they're not things I would look at normally, but I wanted them there for people to see the difference. Yeah, the UK is still circling the drain in that respect, and I actually believe that in terms of media, many of them, and it's already starting, deserve to be unemployed, and I'm sure that day is coming for far more than they realise. I think the fact that Harry and Meghan are still standing and that their mental health is in a much better place since they left the UK, they're doing really well and they deserve all the success. What is post-traumatic growth? Although some people get resilience and post-traumatic growth confused, they are not the same thing. Resilience is the process of adapting in the face of tragedy, where post-traumatic growth refers to positive changes experienced as the result of adversity in life or a life-altering crisis. For example, a woman has been in an unhealthy personal relationship for 10 years. She has endured much pain and suffering, both emotionally and physically. The woman enters group therapy to understand why she remains in the toxic relationship and learns that she is not stuck, but can leave any time she wishes. Finally, after several sessions with the therapy group, she decides to leave and does so. The woman finds that she can do whatever she wishes with her life outside her relationship and turns a horrendous experience into a learning one. The woman was resilient in that she endured the process of adapting to what was happening to her by attending group therapy. Then she expressed post-traumatic growth when she actually did leave and thrived in her new environment. Some Other realities about post-traumatic growth. Distress is typical when facing traumatic events. Many of us, when going through post-traumatic growth, face exceedingly difficult suffering. Although traumatic events are not a good thing, experiencing a life crisis is inevitable. The difference between forming post-traumatic growth or not is how we respond to the stresses of life. For some of us, these life-altering events do not allow the choice between suffering and growth. Post-traumatic growth does not happen to everyone, but then again, not everyone experiences a life-changing crisis. Also, not everyone who faces trauma experiences growth. In closing, while resilience is the process of enduring during a personal life crisis, post-traumatic growth is the positive changes that occur during or after the crisis has passed. Post-traumatic growth takes on several forms in 5 different areas. These changes involve different states of growth, developing a sense of opportunity, having a change in relationships with others, realizing that you can survive anything, better enjoyment of life in general, and having a change in a survivor's belief system. All 5 areas work together to make a person thrive after experiencing trauma. There is a moment in our healing journey when our denial crumbles. We realize our experience and its continued effect on us won't just go away. That's our breakthrough moment. It's the sun coming out to warm the seeds of hope so they can grow our personal garden of empowerment. There's lots more, all very interesting. There's also a section that I put towards the end of this article, and it relates to despair and various emotional changes, mainly good, and very much talks about love, the love of his life with Megan, which you know from the podcast that I did on Spare, the 3 that I did. But it's just a very, very short little section about Spare, which is very uplifting to read. And again, it's a summary, a really tiny summary. More in the article, definitely more in the links, and you know about the book anyway. And talking of books, very quickly, I came across one when I was sort of listing various web links for the reference sources. A book that I didn't know about. It's an ebook about Harry. I think it's £2.49, something like that. It's a small book. It has got very good reviews, seems really interesting. And in the article, I've put a picture of the cover, put sort of the details around the book should you wish to order it, and from Amazon, I think it is. But Amazon is one of them, but there may be other sellers as well. But I copied the few lines which was a summary of what this was about, and it seems really, really good. I'm going to order it and get that. It's very short, but it seems a very positive and uplifting book. So that's also in the article. So, yeah, this 2-parter of a podcast has been very, very detailed. It will take some time to read the whole thing, never mind access the links, but it's like a reference source for you all. You can dip into that as and when you wish at any time over the weeks and months. There's no hurry. At least you know that it's there. So, this part 2 is now at an end. Thank you very much for your patience to have this over 2 weeks. like I said, there's lots and lots. This one is really populated with web links, but I split them, as I said, into subject matter, so you know it's not just one long list of web links. It pertains to particular areas of the podcast. So I look forward, as usual, to hearing and reading your comments about these 2 episodes, Sunday onwards. Thank you very much for your support of the channel. And there are lots of things coming down the pipe, so to speak. Positive things, different ways of promoting the channel, and things that are going on the publication front over the next few months as well. So, for now, it's bye from me, bye from Ivy, bye.
No recordaba lo bueno que era estar a solas, sin que me juzguen, con mis amigas cantando rolas, que me aprecien pero no tanto. Quiero estar sola, estar soltera, no disponible y siendo moda. Yo te quiero pero déjame, no me amas, eso se te ve. Y si sigues pues agárrate, que esta chica no la vuelva a ver. Yo te quiero pero déjame, no me amas, eso se te ve. Y si sigues pues agárrate, que esta chica no la vuelva a ver. Solo quiero ser no lo que quiera. Solo quiero ser no lo que quiera. Él me decía que esa falda era muy fea, porque sus celos nunca dejaron que fuera bella. Me controlaba todas las noches, noches en vela, con sus peleas, con mi persona y la botella. Yo te quiero pero déjame, no me amas, eso se te ve. Y si sigues pues agárrate, que esta chica no la vuelva a ver. Yo te quiero pero déjame, no me amas, eso se te ve. Y si sigues pues agárrate, que esta chica no la vuelva a ver. Solo quiero ser